Greetings, friends. Your cartoonist pal Stan here with a brand new episode of Random Encounters, the show where I use random encounter tables like the kind you find in tabletop role playing games, such as Dungeons and Dragons, and input from you, the people watching in the live audience, and help from an electronic die rolling app or two, and all that together, boom, to generate some never before seen drawing prompts. And then, as the name might suggest, I draw them. I draw them improv cartooning for you to watch and enjoy, hopefully. And, all of us just hang out, have a good time on a Thursday night together online. Hello, surreptitious. Thank you, y'all. Suddenly I'm getting very southern here. Thank you for dropping in. Good to see you again, my friend. Yes. Well, it's been a weird afternoon, and I got a little distracted in the last 15 minutes, but I think I'm ready to do some drawing here today, like usual. Um, Noticing something a little weird on my camera, so I'm going to see if I can change that. Is that all right? There we go. That seems about right. Yeah, no, it was looking kind of dark, and now it's not looking dark. I don't know. Maybe I just needed to shake at it. Just shake my eye at it. What the heck am I saying? You know what that means? It means that I need to stop talking and start drawing, and I invite you to join me in that. I want you to draw along with me, just for the fun of it. Just for the fun of drawing. We all did that when we were kids. We drew for hours just because it was a fun thing to do. And I think that we would all be a little better off if we still had some of that creative play in our lives. And so I encourage that. With this show, please grab your favorite pencil or pen or a watercolor set or electronic drawing machine. I personally use an iPad Pro with the app Procreate and an Apple Pencil. Um, Many people ask, so I tell you that every week. But they are not sponsored. None of this is sponsored. Just me doing some drawing on the show for entertainment. Hello, Michael in chat. Good to see you. Good to see you here this afternoon, my friend. All right, enough of that. I think my best hope of getting on track is to just dive in and start doing some drawing. Because at least there, the point is that I don't know what happens next. When I start acting all host like and start blathering off with some kind of lesson about being creative, well, then I really need to sound like I know what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm going to make sure that that's all set up correctly. Mostly, yes. All right. Good. So now I can switch over here and you can see, along with me, what's going on my iPad screen. Here we go. This is the encounter table, or the encounter tables, that we will be using this evening. I don't know if you can hear the dog barking at the dog park out my window, but if you can, sorry. That's just how it goes here. So these are the encounter tables we're using, and I'm going to come over here, and no, I'm going to come over here and grab the dice, and we're going to roll some dice. Come on, roll some dice and see what we get. We get a 1 and a 3, which means our first drawing tonight is going to be a troll painting minis. Okay. I hope that Ewok isn't. So Michael is making a comment on the Green Ronin's Thursday show, which I'm a big fan of my friends at Green Ronin. I like that show. I stop in And very often when they say something that tickles my funny bone, I will up and draw it for their entertainment and do it quickly so they can share it and send it to the hosts. And today that drawing was a some sophisticated Ewoks. Sophisticated Ewoks. So I'm looking, seeing that my audio is a little low, so I'm adjusting that. Trying to get it all right. I don't know why everything reset from yesterday for some reason. I don't know why that is. All right. Yes. You know what? In fact, I can show you the sophisticated Ewoks. Why not? Come back over here, and I come over here to my Green Ronin folder, and we say these are the sophisticated Ewoks that I drew during today's Thursday show. Aren't they cute? Yes, I say, old bean, yub yub, what? Ha 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 ha. Sophisticated Ewok. Alright, enough of that. Let's come back and get the party started. We've got a troll painting minis. So Chris suggested one of those Wicked E. Warwickshire the Third. I'm sure. Certainly, yes. So, you're distracting me now. We gotta draw a troll painting minis. Let's do that, shall we? So I'll remove the tables and come to the sketch layer. I do my sketching in blue with this brush pen brush, and we're going to do a troll. So D&D trolls, as we know, have kind of wide heads with big eyes and big carrot-shaped noses. And they're very tall and thin. So here's one question, I guess, could be, what mini is the troll painting? What is it a miniature of? Because over here in his hand, he's got some mini he's trying to dab some paint on. Trying to get the hands right. Hands are tough. Let me tell you something. Anyone who's ever drawn, or anyone who tries to draw, will, in the stages of learning, will at some point come up and say, "How do you draw hands? Hands are hard." And my answer invariably is, you are absolutely correct. Hands are hard. And particularly doing things like holding pencils or paintbrushes, it's just hard to get the details right. Maybe this is a good time for a little sidebar on drawing hands. A bridge. I don't know. That's got potential. That's a maybe. Whatever's going here, I haven't figured out yet. So hands, as we see, they come at the end of an arm, and you've got a thumb and 4 fingers. Unless you're drawing in a very cartoony style, like I often do, in which case you will often do just 3 fingers. But in any case, the basic breakdown of the hand is that you've got some form of arm, and then there's a sometimes rectangular. I like this kind of coffin shape for the back of the hand because you've got knuckles that go there and run down the length of them. You don't always draw them, but that's the structure of it. And the thumb kind of comes out from the side, and the fingers come straight out from the end of that. Now, that sounds really easy when I say it, but trust me, trying to put them in motion is hard. It is a lifelong pursuit to try and get good at that. And as you go along, you will find different tricks that you will cling to, like a drowning person hanging on to a life preserver. Okay. Now, so you're going to need a couple of jars of paint. You're going to need a little tub of water, probably with some extra brushes in it. Now, one of the things I'm thinking, there's a lot of accoutrement that people who do a lot of minis painting buy, things that will help them out. And sometimes they get these big visors that blow up their eyes so that they're basically magnifying visors. And I was thinking about putting one of those on this guy, but I don't know that it's a little hard to pull that off and make it clear that that's what it is. I often will say the main thing in doing these drawings is not necessarily to get it right, but to not confuse your audience, not to get it so wrong that they don't know what you're doing. And I'm afraid if I tried to do one of those eye visor things, that it just would not be clear that that's what I was trying to do. All right, what do we got here going on? Small creature that's been petrified. A bridge. Any other ideas on what you need? Yeah, I need those kind of visors. Michael says, yeah. You know what? I never really liked doing miniatures, painting miniatures myself. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I draw, I think. Because I don't get the... there's almost never a mini which captures what I hoped the character would look like. Don't get me wrong, I love minis, and there are some great ones. But if I'm going to spend hours focusing on getting details of something right, it's going to be one of my drawings rather than someone else's mini. All right, let's see. A jeweler's loop, that would be, again, if you know what it is, in a world where there was some explanation of it's a jeweler's loop, that works great. But if I were to just put something like that on, would it be clear that that's what he had on his face? I'm not sure. Tell you what, let's start putting in some finished lines, and I'll leave it up. Maybe we'll play around with that. Maybe we'll try the jeweler's loop. Michael says, painting minis, it's a visceral joy since you don't draw well. Yeah, no, I completely get that. If there isn't another, if there isn't an art form that is creative from nothing to make a thing, I totally get why people love painting minis. I don't. I hope that in no way does my what I said make it sound like I'm knocking it. It's just that for me, I have this other thing I do, and I would I really get so much more joy out of drawing than I do from painting minis. Sometimes it's because I can achieve what I want more easily. I can. It's easier for me to get it done as a drawing. Here, I will draw a jeweler's loop of some description here that he's got on. Um, but then sometimes, like everyone else, sometimes when I'm drawing, I can't get what I want exactly right the first time, or the second, or the third time. But I enjoy that process. I enjoy the process of figuring out how to get it right. And I don't enjoy the process when I'm working on minis. Just me. All right. Let's see. We need the ears here. That ear is not reading right. There we go. And trolls have a wild mop of hair on top of their head. Now, our troll is going to be wearing some kind of ratty clothing. Can't have him be naked. Not a naked troll. Michael says, before D&D, we made models a lot as kids. Yeah, model airplanes. I used to do there. I can't remember the name of the company now. It did models of the Universal monsters and Godzilla and King Kong. Used to do models all the time. But I was always disappointed with the way that turned out. And it was I knew it was a me problem, not the model's problem. And I don't know, maybe that's part of why I kept focusing on drawing and improving my skill with drawing, because I was not always disappointed. I didn't feel like it was a no, no. Even before I say that, it's not true. Um, I like drawing. I just like drawing. It was fun, even when I wasn't going great, and uh, doing minis just wasn't that kind of fun for me. Still haven't figured out what he's painting here. We're going to need to know that in a second as I come around. Past his big long fingers. Something's gotta go here. Could be a See, someone suggested a gnome or a billy goat. Another possibility. Pardon me. Um, could be a dwarf. I've got this thing with the uh, water in the brushes there, and I don't like it. It's going to run right up into his arm too much. So I think I'm going to do this. Mm. Um, Gelatinous cube or a salamander. Um, Troll saw it balloon about the bridge. The party will be totally surprised by this. Yeah, I mean, I don't, I don't know. I don't know why the bridge thing isn't grabbing me. I get it. I get it. Uh, as so often happens, it's just kind of a you you sense it. Yeah, things either grab you or they don't. And the bridge, uh, I'm struggling with it because I see why that's a good choice, but it's not grabbing me. I it's one of those don't think about it things. Yeah, maybe a red dragon. I don't know. I mean, it could be that he's painting a little mini troll too. That's that's got possibilities. Let's see. Well, I'll tell you one thing I'm going to want to do is grab both of these layers and make them a little bigger on the screen because I don't think we're going to have. There's no gag that's going with this. It's just going to be the drawing. Now, I need to solve. I've got to solve what he's drawing here. That's all that's left. So you got to come back to the sketch layer and replace this blob with a something. I'll tell you right now, the thing that's getting me most inspired, the idea that's clicking most, is a ram. To go with the three billy goat scruff. Oh, tell you what, I hope so. Though you guys do something like this and solve and have your own solution, because I'm not. even though this is the one that's grabbing me most, I'm I feel insecure in the uh, in pushing it forward as the best idea. I don't know if it's the best idea, but I think that it's the idea for me. Also, it's the idea that lets us get on with his drawing because I don't I don't want it to take up the entire hour and a half of the show. There we go. Turn off the sketch layer and see what we've got. Need a little more line work there, but I think basically it's looking pretty good. Make sure that Ram is looking at him. Put the bridge on the side of the table. That's I like that idea. Let's put a little bridge here. You know how I said the last few times that people who draw without any kind of pencil sketch are just showing off that it's a trick? I'm doing that trick right now. There we go. We got a little bridge. I feel like there's a funny story to be told in this drawing. I don't know that I'm telling it. Not well. But I think that together we've come up between the finding a way to work that bridge in and having the goat be what he's painting. I like it. All right, let's switch over to our color layer and our gloaming brush, and let's paint this thing, or let's color this thing. Um, Trolls in D&D are kind of a sickly green color. It might, I think it may have gone for too dark a green, but that's all right. Doesn't really matter. So here, like that. The nose is usually an even darker version of the green. And make his hair even darker version of the green. We're going to give him a purple tongue. Plain brown tunic. crusty old tunic that he's wearing. Oh, the loop. Now the loop, which is in for sure now. The loop is going to be that dark blue faux black color. The mini is going to be at base, just kind of a metallic gray, but I'm going to then put on top of it whatever color we're painting here. What do I need? What do I need? I need to with the brush. And what else? What else? What else? What else? The base he's standing on, the color of the water is going to. I don't want the water to look too clean, but I want it to read clearly as water, so we'll have it be fairly clean. And the color, we're going to go with, he's painting the ram's horns. And I think I'm going to have to come back and add a couple more splotches of paint around here. Let's see, I'm going to need this jar to be filled with that color, and then we're going to have a going to be the main color on the bridge. You know, I just realized I need to do a base of plain gray before I darken up the stones. There we go, and the brown. No. Maybe we'll just, nothing's painted red yet, but you always need red paint. And I'm going to take a little purple shadow and give everything a little bit of shadow on the table because I don't feel like coloring the whole table. I think we need some shading on our characters here. There's too much going on not to. Just to help add that sense of texture and three-dimensionality. just a little bit on the undersides. I'm going to have a little different one for the nose and the eyelids. A little darker than that. There we go. There we go. And let's see here. All right. What do I want to add to finish this off? Well, I'm looking at this now. I'm going to come back to my inking brush. And I want it to show like he's put a little bit of motion lines on here to show that he's moving, trying to do the painting. Couple up by the head to show that he's nervous. But by and large, I think we got it. I can come down here and put a little stand in the corner because we have ourselves a troll painting minis. Let's see what we got going on in the accents. Some white belly accents. Yeah, you know, if I was going to do painting I thought for a minute about whether I wanted to do all the colors on the goat, on the ram, but I decided that I like it better like this because it's clear that it makes it clear that it's a mini that he's painting. It's got that unpainted mini look on it. But there we go. You know what? I'm looking at this again, and I think what I am going to do is grab our colors layer. The whole thing is fine. The colors are a little overpowering. So I'm going to drop the opacity just a little bit. I think that brings the whole... There we go. Drop the opacity just a little bit. It lets the lines, the drawing shine through a little clearer, and the whole thing just... The only thing that doesn't work as well there is the loop. So I'm going to have to make the loop darker. To counteract the opacity. There we go. Oh, you know what? Here's another thing I want to do. Come back to my lines layer, and I want to put... I want to use the right brush. But I want to put the chain that the loop is on. I don't think it needs to be colored, but I think that it's important to put it on there. Alright, we're going to call that done. I'm going to call that done. Done and done. Stop thinking about it, Stan. It's just a quick drawing. Man, I started off running at full tilt. I don't think I've calmed down enough. That's all right. Here we go. Shake it off. Shake it off. We've got ourselves a... shake it off and... there is our troll painting minis. God, I look at it, I can already see the problems. All I see are problems. You know the solution to that? Put it away and do something else. So we're going to go back and we're going to do a second drawing. Got our encounter table back, and then come back and roll some dice and see what we get for our second drawing. And that will be an 8 and a 10. So that'll be a Sphinx Stargazing. These are two things that are new on the list, which tells me that I rolled both the 8 and the 10 the last time. A Sphinx Stargazing. So, Sphinx. We'll need a human head and a lion's body, some kind of Egyptian headdress style. You'll have a pyramid in the background just for the whole Sphinx. Not loving that nose. Trying to make our Sphinx look a little cute. And I'm playing around with the notion of the Sphinx, wishing on the stars, right? Maybe just starting with the Sphinx saying, "Starlight, star bright." But now it's got me thinking of, well, what could the Sphinx be wishing for? The Sphinx who likes riddles. I suppose that if I really thought about it, I could have tried to come up with some actual constellations. Canis Major with a heart over her head. See, I don't know what Canis Major would look like. So now the question becomes: should I zoom in, or just leave it kind of? I think I leave it kind of where it's at. But yes, that question of what actually is going on in the sky. The dog star. I'm trying to think. I'm looking at what you've said there, and I'm trying to think of dog star jokes. Um, but you know what? All of those can come in either in the sky or in just in the text. So I'm going to jump ahead and start drawing, start putting line work in. Going to give her some heavy cat-like eye makeup. Um, Hello, Linnea. I'm working on a Sphinx Stargazing, and I'm trying to come up with, besides having the drawing, the basic drawing, which I think I like, trying to come up with a gag. We've had suggestions about somehow talking about the dog star. I have rued the fact that I don't actually know enough about uh, astronomy to draw anything like actual um, constellations, and I don't know enough to make really good constellation jokes. Basically, I don't know anything. I'm going to have a pyramid here. In the background. And then, yeah, the best, I mean, the closest thing I had so far to a line was just to have the Sphinx starting the Starlight Starbright. Um, oh, let's see. Michael says surreptitious got it. You cannot be serious. Oh dear. That is definitely a pun. I may go with that. I may well go with that. I'm still thinking about it. All right. Let's see. let's see here. Oh, Linnea's double phoning in here. Got on Facebook and on YouTube. Look at that. Helping my numbers just by showing up twice in one evening. I don't suggest other people go around and try and do that, but I appreciate the effort, Linnea. All right, let's see. Let's turn off the sketch layer and see what we've got here. I need to put a couple of little extra bits in there. So here's the thing. I'm trying to work with a "you cannot be serious." That's the good start to the gag, right? You cannot be serious, right? If you have the right lead up, that's a good punchline. As it is, it's a good pun that is kind of a non sequitur, right? Why is she saying you cannot be serious? What is it that that leads to that? Like, if there had been some question and answer, if there'd been, say it's the pun that you want to build on, but you really, in order, well, for the purposes of this, it's fine, and I'm now leaning towards using it, but I'm now talking about if I was going to try and find a way to make this a cartoon that was closer to saleable. Was trying to come up with something that I was going to polish and try and publish. That's not the finishing joke. That's the starting joke. If you guys ever watch, there's a podcast I watch all the time called Comic Lab, which is about the process of making comics. Two really, really smart, funny guys do it. And if you are a subscriber to their Patreon, which I am, they have an extra show every week. And very often they do what they call a writer's room episode on the extra show, where one of them will bring an idea in, and together they'll talk through kind of what I'm doing here, just me talking to myself. Right? They'll take the idea. Like, one of them might come in with just this. I got an idea of the guy's stargazing and looks up in the sky and says, "You cannot be serious." That, like, serious as a gag for the joke. And one of them, well, the guy who brought in will say something along the lines of what I've been saying here, but it's not really a joke. It's just a start, and then they'll work it. They'll work it for half an hour or so. And I can't say I always love what they come up with, but I love the process. I love watching this and listening to them work on it. So, all of that to say, I think that this serious, you cannot be serious joke that Chris has come up with here is a really good starting joke. And for what we do on this show, that's all we need. But you know me. You folks who are here tonight know me. I do this overreaching thing where, despite the fact that that's all we need, I try and do more. And particularly when I'm using one of your ideas, I feel bad when I do that, because It makes me feel like I'm sending a message like, well, your idea was all right, but it's not good enough. It totally is. But I'm now trying to make it even better. Hmm. There we go. Oops. Alright, and now for the night sky, I'm going to go with a dark blue. Maybe? Big. I'm going to do what I sometimes do. I'm going to put this on a second layer, because then I can really just kind of put it in there. Like that. And then erase it. Without affecting what's underneath. Or what's on top of it. There we go. Now, how will that work overall? Well, I'll show you later. We're still going to want to do some kind of text on top of this. I'm going to come here, and I'm going to actually switch back to my inking brush. And we're going to put in some stars in the sky. Like that. So now clearly she's looking at that star. And Chris says it makes you think Star David. Yeah, kind of does. I'm a little worried about that, but all right. So now I'm going to add another new layer, and that's where we're going to put our text. Or no, our text is going to go on the lines layer, but we're going to add another new layer where we're going to add the word balloon. But for now, let's see. So we're going to need her to be saying, maybe if I just change it just a little bit to not just just add the RU. You're not serious, are you? Oh, let's see. Beam me up, guys. I'm done with the litter box. Whoops, put that on the wrong layer. Okay, well, how do I fix that? Tell you how I fix that. I copy and, well, no. I cut and paste that onto a new layer and then put that onto the sketch layer. And now it lives there. We can come back and do the lettering. Serious? Oh, serious. Okay, thank you. Thank you, yes. Thank you very much. And then here on our lines layer, got to be saved from my own bad spelling time and again. I love my spell check. I don't trust it 100%, but I love that it's there. And I thank you guys for helping me out with that. All right, so now on the wait a second. Where did I completely erase the sky layer? I did. It's just gone. Have to do that over again. It's the problem with working quickly here. And if I backed up, I'd have to redo something, and the sky is the easiest thing to redo. Surely you're not serious. You know what, Dave? I I like that. Here we go. I'm going to change this entirely. Um, let's get rid of this. We're going to keep the series pun. We're going to go with a surely you're not serious. And then we're going to take it a step further on top of that. So what do I need? I need to erase these. And now I need to put the new text in there. And it's going to be surely you're not serious. And we come back here to our lines layer. Write that in again. I need to move the surely over so it's centered. Alright, now on the colors layer, I'm going to take some blue and I'm going to fill this entire word balloon in with blue. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because then I'm going to take the blue and I'm going to turn it to white. And now, when I put the sky back in, which I've erased accidentally, the word balloon will be will be opaque. Okay, here we go. We're going to do the same thing we did last time. Just fill in the sky a lot. And then come back and erase some of it out. Anywhere where it's underneath our characters and is affecting the colors. Or over here, the side, where I don't want it to go all the way out. And then we're going to come back to the color layer. I'm going to start with the star she's talking to. Surely you're not serious. And then we're going to add in over on the lines layer. Oop, wrong thickness. I am. And stop calling me Shirley. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. All that work for this gag. And then we come back to the color layer, and again, color this in blue. Doesn't have to be blue, could be any color, but a color that I can see clearly. Although at this point, I suppose white would have done too. And then change that to white. That star is not working great. Surely you're not serious. I am. And stop calling me Shirley. There was a lot of work to get to this joke, let me tell you. But we had fun getting there, right? Team effort! Team effort! Entirely. Let's put a little signature in the corner. And we can say we have completed a Sphinx Stargazing. Woof! Woof, he said. Now, if I knew that's where we were going from the beginning, I'd have flipped the whole thing so the Sphinx would be on the left, because she speaks first. But that much I'm not changing. Wow. I feel good about this one. Let's get rid of this. Turn off group 2, turn on group 3. Make sure we're on the right brush settings. Turn back on the encounter tables. Have one more sip. This time I'm going to have a sip of water. Among the many things that are not sponsoring this is Hint Water. I like Hint Water quite a bit. Not at all a sponsor. Again, Hint Water, give me a call. I'm totally willing to be take you on as a sponsor. Okay. Let us. You ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Okay. We got a lot of after a lot of hemming and hawing and suggesting and improving and changing. We had a Sphinx Stargazing as our second drawing. We had a troll. Painting minis is our first, and we're now going to go over to the dice and find out what our third drawing is going to be. So let's roll these dice and find out what's our third drawing going to be. It's a 2 and a 7. So that'll be a Leonine. Leonine is my generic term for a lion-like character, a humanoid lion. And 7, Campfire. So interestingly with the Sphinx, we've got 2 lion-like characters that we're drawing tonight. That's an unintended theme. But Leonine and Campfire. All right. Here we go. I'm going to start with a campfire. That's what the drawing's got to be centered around. The question is there an immediate gag that comes up for doing white was 7? What, really? Did I get that backwards? I did. It was 7 and 2 the other way around. Oh, sorry about that. What would that have been? What's the correct one? Instead, it should be Orcus on a lazy river. Would you guys rather I do? You know what? I'll give you guys an option. Orcus on a lazy river or Leonine around a campfire. I have a feeling Orcus on a lazy river is going to win this one. But I will give you guys the chance to chime in. River Styx, yeah, that makes sense. All right, so turn that off. We'll come here. I think we'll go with the Orcus on a lazy river. That really does sound like fun. So I'm back here on the sketch layer, and I am clearing that layer so that we can come back and draw it. Hello, Dale Donovan. Thank you for joining us tonight. All right, so Orcus has got like a skull head. Big bat wings. that. Now, we've got him on a kind of an inner tube. One arm in the water. Like that. Maybe draw that a little smaller so we got a little extra room. And, oh, I got that backwards. Alright. I figured he could run into uh, Charon on his boat on the River Styx, since you guys mentioned it being the River Styx. Now, I'm not sure. Something funny could be said here. All right, I have absolutely no idea what could be said between them, but I think that this is a good layout for the drawing, so let's just draw it. We'll start here. I think I'm going to start with the skull. Just sticking his arm over the side into the water. I'm not sure. I've got the inner tube in the nozzle here over by his armpit, and I'm not sure that's the best place for it. Maybe somewhere down here. I could also do something with his arm up here if I need to, depending on what we want to have him saying. Very often, it's a good idea to use even if you don't need it. I often talk about how posture is important, and one of the ways that works out a lot is giving him a gesture that may not be necessary, but helps to emphasize the the message that you're trying to send. There we go. Orcus just hanging out on a lazy river. And we have someone who we will maybe have to explain is supposed to be Charon. Punting his little craft across the river Styx. So I mean, in if I really wanted to sell that this was Charon, I would have to put some some damned souls in here. The souls of the damned. So I'm thinking, some kind of gag about, I know you've got to get the souls of the damned to the other side, but this is my vacation. And I'm just a little mad. I kind of like that line too. Circus over troubled water. Something like, yeah, gotta get. Definitely need more room for that. To the other side. But I'm on vacation. Yeah, I know you've got to get the souls of the damned to the other side, but I'm on vacation. I was just, I'm starting to think about putting some kind of mountainous shapes in the background, and I think I'm going for too much there. Just let it be. Grey Poupon. There would be a good Grey Poupon joke in there, too. I'd probably get rid of the yeah. Alright, let's do this, and then we will wrap it up. And in fact, I'm even going to make this. I'm make this less wordy already. I know the souls of the damned need to get to the other side. But I'm on vacation. Here we go, and I think I'm going to just put a little extra demonic influence on this word balloon to show, he's Orcus, man. I know the souls of the damned need to get to the other side, but I'm on vacation. There we go. I like it. Let's now turn off this sketch layer. Let's see what we've got. And we'll turn on our drawing brush. And let's see. Orcus has, oops, a little too large there. And some kind of furry goat legs. That's not enough. There we go. Oh, we need the same color for the bat wings. What else? We need some faux black here for the inner tube. And the hoof. We're going to go with a purplish faux black for Charon's cloak for no particular reason. Yellow eyes for Charon. I think the tube is now with that color for the river. We're going to need to make the tube a little darker. And then maybe just a slight off yellow coloring behind in his word balloon to again make him just seem like he's a little, talking like a demon. Now, where do we need to add a little bit of highlighting or shadowing? Oop, drop that. A little here, a little there. Little on his legs. Maybe just a little bit in the water, too. Not a lot, but just a bit. There we go. Maybe Sharon's cloak, too. Again, not a lot, just a little. And now I can come back and put a little stand in the corner. And we got Orcus on a lazy river. He's kind of relaxing, having himself a little vacation. Even Orcus deserves a little vacation, right? Okay. Well, what a night it's been. Got started a little late. Got started on a tear. But in the end, I think it worked out okay. So, let's do this. Ready. And we'll do an outro. Orcus on a lazy river. That was our third drawing for the evening. Our second drawing this evening was a Sphinx Stargazing. And we started off with a troll painting minis. Pretty good for Thursday, I would say. And I got a lot of strong support from folks in the live chat. Thank you, Surreptitious, and Chris Andrew, and Michael in chat, Dale Donovan, and Dave Lemon, and Linnea Lemon. Everyone had some really good ideas that helped bring all of this together. Now, that's about it. We're now done for the evening. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I had a good time. I hope you did. I hope that maybe you grabbed a little pen and paper and did a little drawing of your own. Whether you were drawing those ideas or others, just kind of doodling, please do me a favor. Just doodle. Doodle for your Uncle Stan. You don't have to show me. You don't have to show anyone. Just do it because it's fun. In the meanwhile, I hope everyone has a happy Labor Day weekend. We're about to go into a long holiday weekend here in the U.S. and many other places. Hope you have a good Labor Day weekend. Hope that you celebrate appropriately, and whether that's privately or publicly or both. I hope you have a good time, and I look forward to seeing you all back here next week. For another episode of Random Encounters. Also next Wednesday, we'll have another episode of 50 Years in the Dungeon, where I'll be working on a cartoon homage. In the meanwhile, if you want to support the kind of things I do, if you want to see me do more of this, one of the good places to go is my Patreon. patreon.com/Stanex, and you can become a member there. Members of my Patreon get to see all of the stuff I draw. I draw a lot of things for various stuff on the internet and just for fun that I post to my social media. Sometimes it'll be hard keeping track of everything I've posted. Well, members of my Patreon community, I just send it to them, well, maybe for free, maybe no. Hopefully you're paying a little, but members of my community get it all sent as my thank you to you, often with notes about what I did and why I did it. Also, different levels, you can get stickers sent to you to your home. Stickers, everyone likes stickers. And the main thing is, as I say, this is what helps to keep me doing this stuff in a world such as we live in, where paying the rent is not always the easiest thing to do. Things that pay the rent have to take priority. The more that people want to encourage this kind of thing, the more you want to see of it, the more it needs to contribute to the rent. I'm feeling I'm going to have more to say on that subject in the coming weeks. Maybe not in one of these shows. Maybe in a side video or essay of some sort. But yeah, life's hard all over. Life's hard for a lot of people. And mine right now involves a lot of trying to find ways to, as I say, get the rent paid. So there you go. Patreon's a great place to do it. You can also join. You can join Patreon for free. You get fewer of the posts, but there's certainly a free option, and I encourage you, please join it. It's a good way to keep track of where I'm going to be and what I'm doing. You can also get the free Substack for the Wednesday show, 50 Years in the Dungeon, where I post the art as soon as it's done. The people on that Substack, even the free version, get to see the art a week or two before anyone else does. So that's a good place to be. Also, wherever you're watching this, hey, do me a favor, give me a like, give me a thumbs up. Whether it's YouTube or Facebook, whether it's a heart or a thumbs up or a like or a support, it's free and it's helpful. Also, everyone who's been participating in chat, I love chatting with you all. I know we've had more people hanging out and watching who've not been chatting, which is okay. But I'll tell you what's super helpful to me is if after this ends, you could take a minute and just leave a little comment and say, watch the show, it was great, or watch the show and I don't know why, or way to go, Stan, more like that, or whatever you want to say. Tell me, I want to hear it. And just by posting that, you'll be helping a lot. It helps to get the platform that you're watching it on to share it, share the show, share my videos with more people, which, who doesn't want more people, right? That's what I'm saying. All right, there we go. That's it. Business done. I'm now going to say goodnight. Thank you again, everyone, for coming by. It's been great hanging out with you. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you all next week. Till then, take care. Bye.